Hi everyone, this is Devang again. Welcome to the latest episode of the Outlaw Joseph Scotts. This is episode 68, and it is a town episode. And if you've seen any of my recent posts this week, last weekend was the Seattle 1.5 wave pickup for Shadows of Brimstone materials. So I have picked up the rest of that, and that includes the expanded town. Woohoo! Alright. So Joseph will have a chance to get into the expanded town. So we'll see a little bit of that, talk a little bit about that, and whatnot. So let's get to the town. Alright, once more into the breach. Here we are at the, well, I should say not at the town yet, because with the new Frontier Town expansion, we have a bit more stuff that we need to do before we can actually get to town. First of all, we need to finish up from the end of last session, as usual. What that means is Joseph failed the last mission. Now that was sacrifice from the deluxe enemy pack, the human sacrifice. So he failed, which means he has an additional travel hazard when traveling to town. And then he has to roll a d6 for every side bag token he has. On a 1 or 2, discard it. I believe I already made the roll for the side bags items, so he doesn't have to worry about those. He's currently got a whiskey, a tequila, and 2 herbs, and 3 darkstone in his chest, tomb chest. So he does need to roll for corruption hits for his guns. Each gun has 3 darkstone icons because they have the grip, the void assembly, and the barrel upgrades. So that's going to be 6 dice for corruption hits, using the fancy new dice here. So 2. So he takes 2 hits, and then he needs to roll willpower. Blocks 1, so he takes 1 corruption hit. So we know that's what he needs. He needs, obviously he has a mangled hand, and he has 1 corruption point now that he needs to have removed. So going to the doctor is going to be pretty important for him. Unfortunately, at the campsite, I don't believe that you can get corruption cured right at the campsite. No, corruption cannot be cured at the campsite. You can get madness, you can get injuries and mutations and parasites and curses, but you can't get corruption removed. So church or a doctor's office are something we really need. Of course, it's only 1 corruption, but I would like to be safer and get to the doctor's office. Now we know we have 1 additional travel hazard. So the way this works now is basically we need to decide what size town we want to go to. So a small town only has 4 of the 12 possible locations, and we need, so you can see, so it's a small town, so it has 4 of the possible locations, and that says we roll a d6, 1, 2, or 3, there's a travel hazard. Simple enough. So Joseph would have 1 travel hazard and 50% chance of another. The medium Frontier Town has 2, 4, 6 of the 12 locations, but
automatically has a travel hazard. So Joseph would just have 2 travel hazards. And then last but not least is the large frontier town, which has 8 of the 12 possible locations. But it's a travel hazard plus 50% chance of having another travel hazard. So Joseph could have 3 travel hazards. But there are 8 of the locations. And Joseph normally, well, of course, there are lots of locations. Joseph normally doesn't stay very long because of his wanted status. However, since this is the first episode, really with the expanded town, I mean, obviously I did one when I was at Flying Frog a couple months ago. That was sort of the first look at this. So let's go ahead and let's go to the large town. Because Joseph really wants to get the doctor. Okay? It's safer to have the surgery done at the doctor in town. He can also get remove Joseph's corruption, so I don't have to go to another location, to try to get the corruption. And if I don't get a church or a doctor, then I can't get rid of the corruption. So I would like the highest odds. Plus, it gives him more options, more choices of where to go. So, and it gives you guys, more. So let's do that. So basically, Joseph's going to have. Let's roll to see if he has another travel hazard. So how many? He's got 2 travel hazards, and then I need to roll a d6. A 1. So he has 3 travel hazards. So now we need to roll on the travel hazard chart because he has 3 of them. So, expanded travel hazard chart. We'll do it's a D36. So we'll say blue is the 1s, or sorry, the blue is the 10s, the first digit. Let me just put it that way. Blue is the first digit. So a 42 is his first travel hazard, which is a raging river. Raging river lays before you, blocking the path to the town you are headed towards. So either give up their destination, go back to the tiny roadside town they passed, so it changes to a small town, or attempt to ford the deadly river and press on. Each hero must make a strength 5+ test to get across. If failed, roll a d6 for every item you have with 1 or more anvils. On the roll of 1, discard it as the river sweeps it away. Well, that's pretty nasty, but I really don't want to go to a small town. So let's make the strength test. Strength 5+ test. Joseph does have 2 grit. Hey, he got a 5 and a 6, so he passes that with flying colors. So, first travel hazard overcome. No grit needed to be spent. Second one, again, blue will be the first digit. A 53. Circling vultures. Seeing the black vulture circling overhead reminds you that there's no safe haven in this forsaken place. All will come to ruin in time, and the vultures will have their feast in the end. Every hero must make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, gain 10 experience and heal D3 sanity. If failed, take D3 sanity damage, ignoring willpower that carry over to the next adventure. So that's not something you can just get healed. But that's still D3 sanity damage, so that's not too bad. Spirit 5+, we know how good Joseph is with Spirit. 1 die, a 1. So he fails. It only takes 1 sanity damage. So it's not too horrible. And then, so the third travel hazard that he has, 51. Sleeping under the stars. If you drifted off to sleep under the starry sky, your thoughts turn to the vastness of time and space, and all the horrors and wonders you have seen on your journey. Each hero may make a lore 6+ test. For each 6+ rolled, gain +1 health or +1 sanity. Alright, well, Joseph's lore is 4. And he gets 1 6. +1 health or +1 sanity? I think I'm going to take +1 health or sanity. Joseph is certainly, he's got 31 health and only 20 sanity, so bumping his sanity now. That's a permanent permanent gain. It's tempting to use a grit to try to get another 6, but I don't know that it's worth it, especially considering we're going to a large town, and there could be some really cool stuff that we need to have re-rolled. But that's cool. So you got one good travel hazard. So that's nice to see that there are some of those. Okay, so we show up at the large. First of all, we need to, before I say we show up at the large town, we need to see if it's a specialty type town. So again, we're going to roll 2d6, add them together, see what it is, see what kind of town it is. It is an 11, which is a mutant town. Okay, so we have this large town is a mutant town. So, mutant town. So, shunned from society, those who have become mutated by the corrupting influence of the void sometimes band together to form their own towns on the frontier. So, special rules. Refuge for those who are different. A mutant town always includes a mutant quarter location. On the fringe, never includes a frontier outpost location, so Joseph will not be able to rob. Distrust. Heroes do not gain unwanted attention. For mutations that they have. Instead, any hero with no mutations at all gains 2 unwanted attention markers when they enter town. So Joseph's going to get 2 of those. And something in the water. At the start of each day in town, each hero takes a corruption hit and then recovers 1 grit for use in town. So that is going to be interesting. I'll set that up there. So be a bit interesting. All right, so we start here. We have the large town. Now, we know we have the mutant quarter. So I need to pull out the mutant quarter token. We know we have the mutant quarter, so we'll just put that up there. And then we need to fill in the other 7. Randomly choose. So we have we can't have the frontier outpost. Which makes the odds of getting the blacksmith and the doctor a little bit higher. We have the blacksmith. Good. We have the gambling hall. Have a street market. We have the church. We have the doctor's office. We have the sheriff's office. And last but not least, we have the Indian trading post. There you go. So there is the town that Joseph is looking at going to. It's Mutant Town. So we start off first day. So another change we have is the daily town events. That every day we have these daily event cards, and you draw one each day. So this one says, just another day on the frontier, no effect, but if a specialty town, roll once on the daily events chart for that type of town. So since we are in a specialty town, flip this card over. Daily events. I should also look, we got extra options here. So we can also be beyond the buildings. We can go to work on the cut. You can give up your day in town to work the cut, helping to build new rail line. Strength test, you can gain some money, but you can take some damage. Real worker supplies. So at the Mutant Quarter, in addition to what's on the Mutant Quarter, you can pick up some Darkstone blasting caps or a rail spike. So that's interesting. $200. Discard to prevent the darkness from moving forward a space on the depth track. Limit 1. Alright. So, daily events. What do we got? We have a 1, which is the Scafford Gang. Notorious mutant outlaws, the Scafford Gang ride into town looking for supplies and new recruits. There are too many to fight. Each hero makes a cunning 4+ test to stay out of the fight. If failed, the hero is recognized by the gang and must flee town to avoid being killed. Blah. Tough start. Alright, well I have a cunning of 4, so 4 dice. Needed a 4+. Not too wow, out of all of them. So Joseph manages to hide and avoid the Scafford Gang. Alright. So that was the start of the first day. So first thing to do, go into the doctor's office. I know it's in some ways same old, because it's not a new town location. But that is certain thing. Now, thing to note at the Mutant Quarter is you can have mutations removed there, which is not something that I obviously want to do because I don't have a mutation yet. Spirit Clan at the Indian Trading Post, you can attempt to get rid of madness, curse, and mutations. We don't have a smuggler's den. The sheriff's office, you can get a sheriff's bounty. Okay, I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else interesting to do. I know I don't really need. I'm trying to see if there's any of the new locations will let me heal. Heal doesn't look like there's anything else that'll let me heal injuries. So, doctor's office, day 1. What have we got? Oops, a 10. Expert surgeon. Surgery attempts are made at +1 on the chart. Woohoo! Excellent. Because that's exactly what Joseph needs to do. Speaking of which, here we go. Mangled hand. Let us heal that mangled hand. So D6 +1. 5 + 1 is a 6. Impressive scar. The injury mutation is healed, and Joseph gets +2 health for that. Excellent. So he's up to 33 health because he's now got an impressive scar on his hand. Excellent. And then he'll treat corruption, so he's going to pay $100. That was, and D6 times 50. Alright, cost him a lot though. Cost him 300 to have his hand healed, but that was well worth it. And then he will also pay 100 to heal his corruption. And then he will pay his $10 for the anti-venom injection, as usual. So there was day 1. Need to see if there is a town event. There is not. And then Joseph needs to see if he has been recognized. So he is level 8. He is recognized twice. So that's going to be $100. The downside here is that Joseph is not able to. He's got a decent amount of knife. No, first of all, okay, he'll go ahead and sell this hunting knife for $100. I'm just looking at there's no frontier outpost, so he can't rob the bank. So that's going to be important to know at some point. Alright, so day 2, get another daily event, which is a mob riot. The townsfolk are fed up with the local authority and have begun to riot in the streets. Each hero can attempt to help quell the riot by making a strength 4+ test. If failed, the hero is knocked over the head, taking d6 wounds, ignoring defense, and may do nothing this day. If passed, the hero gains 20 experience and can choose one building in town to protect. Then roll a d6 for each building in town that was not protected. Another 2, that building is destroyed by the riot. Well, I think I'm protecting the blacksmith so I can get those darkstone bullets. Strength, unfortunately, he only has a 2 strength. 4+ test, though. He fails. I'm going to spend a grit, one of his 2 grit, and I'm going to reroll these. Succeeds. Alright. So, he doesn't take the wounds, and he will protect the blacksmith. So now we're going to need to roll a d6 for each building. Mutant Quarter is good. Gambling Hall is fine. The Street Market is fine. That was a 2. The Church. Church is destroyed. The Doctor's Office is fine. The Sheriff's Office is fine. And the Indian Trading Post is destroyed. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. It was a 1 or 2, wasn't it? Did I roll a 2 for somebody? Hold on. Okay, after further review. So I rolled a 2 for the Street Market and the Sheriff's Office. So the mob narrowed down my choices quite a bit. But that was that. And now let's see what Joseph wants to do. Day 2 is, oh, shit. One other thing at the doctor's office, almost completely forgot. Joseph also decided he was going to do a new experimental treatment. He was going to get some plastic surgery. Kapow! He now has an outlaw figure. So he looks different. There we go. So he has his actual outlaw miniature now. Alright. So, day 2. Joseph goes to the blacksmith. Get a nice profile there. So, at the blacksmith, hopefully Joseph will be able to get to, I guess the only new ones are the Gambling Hall and the Mutant Quarter, so I guess he'll try those. See what's there. A 7 at the blacksmith does nothing. And then there he will simply pick up darkstone bullets. Nothing else. Nothing else that he wants to do there. I know, pretty sad, but the darkstone bullets. He needs to find a place to pick up a little bit more money. Would be nice, just to make sure he stays on top of things, especially since he didn't get any loot cards really to last session. Alright, so there's no town event. And then Joseph needs to see if how much he's recognized here in this mutant town. 2 more. $100. Still not too horrible. So we are up to day 3. So he's been to the blacksmith, he's been to the doctor's office. So we have the Gambling Hall or the Mutant Quarter. So let's see what we can do at these 2 new locations. Oh, and I should be remembering, he has 2 unwanted attention, which has not come into play yet, because he has no mutations. And he should be taking a corruption hit each day, at the start of each day. So he should make three corruption hit rolls. Actually, let's do this separate. One for the first day, because he did go to the doctor's office and get that removed. So let's see. So he fails that. So he took a corruption. So he could have had that removed at the doctor's office. And so the remaining two... Alright, so he has one corruption. He does have one corruption. But I do get a grit, so you know what? I'm going to re-roll that. And that will block it. So, for this third day, and I don't think I want to say, since I'm getting a corruption every turn, but he does recover a grit every day as well, so he's back up to 2 grit. Let's see what the Mutant Core gives us. A surgeon, he can meet with the mutant revolutionaries, but no, only if he had mutations. Could visit the mutant prophet, which doesn't really help. Got some whiskey, bandages, or dynamite. He could get a hooded cloak. Not that interesting. He's got a thing there's a thing an extractor that can be used to remove a few corruption points, which might be useful. Nope, nothing else too interesting at the Mutant Quarter, although the Mutant Quarter does let us purchase the rail spike. Not that interesting. So let's go to the gambling hall. See what we can do at the gambling hall. If nothing else, we can gamble. So, hey. And then we'll leave after this. See if we can get some double ones. That's not good. Assassination attempt. A rival is cut up to you and takes a shot while your back is turned. Make a cunning 5+ test to see it coming, or a lore 6+ test to dodge. His lore is 4, his cunning is 4, so his cunning's going to be better. So we'll do that. So cunning 5+. Get 1 success, which is all I need, so he avoids getting killed. If you fail, you take an injury and only use a D6 on the chart instead of 2D6, which is nasty. Alright, so what can we get here? We can get whiskey, we can get fine cigars, get some fancy clothing like black ties, a bowler hat, a top hat, gambler's jacket, red sash, gold ring. So you could use the, let's see, what is that red sash? Because he is a showman, and the gold ring. Those are expensive, though. Yeah, they're a little too expensive. I don't really want to pay that. Well, let's see how much we get for gambling. So we can do a five card draw poker, Brimstone Craps, or the Devil's Wheel. So we could do the Devil's Wheel. He can sell Darkstone shards. Ooh, we can rob the gambling hall. Outlaw only. Wow, that was good to choose here. What else can he do? He can get a holdout pistol for a free attack, a gambler's gun. Range 7, 2 shots, once per turn. He can add a d6 -3 damage to a single hit. If it's negative, obviously the damage is reduced by that amount. A Darkstone poker chip gives him some luck. Anytime he gains gold while gambling, he gains an extra $50. Interesting. Alright, well, we can try, let's try gambling first. Brimstone Craps first, which is a luck test. Joseph has a luck of 5. Since I'm going to attempt to rob the gambling hall, I'm not going to use a grit because I've only got 1 grit left because the other one I had to use for. Well, actually no, because I had 3 right, and then lost 1, so I have 2 grit. So sure, let's. This is 100 each. Let's spend 1 of my 2 grit. I've got 1 grit left for robbing. Nope, didn't help. Okay, so he gains $100. That helped offset what he paid yesterday. The end of yesterday. The Devil's Wheel. I don't think I'm going to play the Devil's Wheel. It's going to be a little bit more of a setup that I want to do. I'll go ahead and try the poker. So the way the poker works, and you can actually do this 3 times if you want, $50. Roll 5 dice to represent your hand. And then you choose to pay anywhere from 50 to 250 more as an extra bet, or fold. Then you can re-roll any number of your dice. Once you have your final hand, you can spend 1 grit to add an additional 0 to 20 to your extra bet if you like. And then you make a cunning test to win based on how good your hand of cards is. So, a little complicated, so here's my hand of cards. You're really looking for a flush, so a sequence, 4 of a kind, or a flush, which is 5 sequential numbers, or a full house, which is 2 and 3, a straight, which is 4 sequential numbers, 3 of a kind, which is 3. So, what have we got? Well, that's not really, well, we'll go that. So I have 2 pair, and that doesn't really count, though. We need 3 of a kind, or a full house. A single pair doesn't help. I'll pay another $50, so I've paid 100 total, which is what I got. I get to re-roll 1 die. I'm hoping for a 4 or a 6, and that will get me a full house. No. So Joseph basically has nothing. So that means now he makes his cunning test because he doesn't have a good hand. It's a cunning test 6+ with at least 2 successes in order to actually win. So his cunning is 4 dice. So he needs 2 successes, 2 6s. And he does not. Ooh, he has 1 grit left, but I want to use that to rob. So not quite enough. So he loses that $100 that he gained at craps. Oh well, that's kind of tough. That the poker is going to be kind of tough unless you have some really good stats, or you get lucky, or you got enough grit. All right, so let's rob the gambling hall cashier. Cunning 6+ test to rob the gambling hall cashier. If successful, for each 6+ rolled, gain D6 times 100 and an extra unwanted attention marker. For each 1, take D6 hits during the shootout that ensues. And if he fails, he's arrested and set to hang, and then I have to make some more tests. He doesn't get any, so let's use a grit. His 1 grit. Let's try to get a 6+. He gets a 6+, and no 1s. So no wounds. He does succeed. So he robbed, and he gets a D6 times 100. So he gets 400 gold. All right, not quite as good as robbing the frontier, the bank at the frontier outpost. More difficult, certainly. All right, and then is there an event on day 3? There is an event on day 3. Good. So now we get to see. We need to get to see what the town events are. Alright, now before I do that, I was just actually looking over stuff. I did notice one thing. I rolled a 7 for the blacksmith, which is no event. However, Joseph has unwanted attention markers. When you roll a 7, you have this when trouble comes calling. Okay? So you roll a 7 on an event chart, you have to see if you are attacked. So you roll a d6. If it's equal to or less than the number of unwanted attention markers, you're attacked by a cowardly but dangerous individual. So he is not. So that's it. So I just needed to do that. And surprisingly, there is no new town event card chart. That I could tell. So we just need to roll normally to see what we get. We get a 4 of fire. D3 random town locations burned to the ground. Importantly, remnants of the riot, of the mutant riot. But nothing else. So there you go. That is the end of this town say. Certainly a bit more exciting, a bit more dangerous. I guess we can see. So 2 locations are destroyed. We've got 4 left. Let's roll d6. 1, 2. So the blacksmith. And the gambling hall burned down. So, but the mutant quarter and the doctor's office are still up. But Joseph's not going to stay another day. Doesn't really need to go to the mutant quarter. He robbed, and then he's going to leave. So there you go. There was his town stay. Mutant quarter, obviously not really Joseph's cup of tea. And here's his new miniature, all painted up. The actual outlaw. So, and if I have a video of the painting, I don't know how good it will be, having never really, filmed filming while painting, but I do have sort of a introductory, and at least I talk through, even if you can't necessarily see detail, but where I paint this specific miniature and how I achieved its effects and everything using the dry brushing. So I have that. I will have that video up shortly after I post this one up, and I hope it's helpful. I hope you enjoyed this town, and again, it certainly made it a little bit more interesting, a little bit longer. Some different things going on. Obviously, still a little bit of rules fumbling around for me because it's pretty new, and I have not done it consistently yet. You get better over time, obviously. But there you have it. I'm trying to decide what to do next week. Whether to do the second in the Serpentmen book to complete that, or excuse me, I'm thinking about going through the town missions and doing a shootout in the streets. Or optionally, I actually might just do a one-off, not with Joseph, with just some first-level characters, just to show what a shootout or the town, the town board and everything work. I haven't quite decided. It's certainly a lot more work to do a one-off rather than do Joseph, because then now you've got the bandits and everything, and multiple characters running, even if they are basic characters. So, still debating. Feel free to give me some input on what you think, what you want, whether you want Joseph to run through those right now. Obviously, at some point he will go through the town missions. But there are a few missions that I could do before the town missions for Joseph. So, anyway, enough of my rambling. I'll let you all go. Thanks for watching. Bye.